Kathy and I really wanted to just briefly share with you a little bit about some of our action team recommendations. And keep in mind that Optimize, the work that we're doing is making recommendations for change. We are not the implementers. And I think your last meeting, Mace and Abby and Ben and Cheryl Marie came in and talked about many of the projects that they are doing that are actually a result of the action team recommendations that were made. But one of the responsibilities that we are asked to do is look at the barriers. We started off with a barrier action team, identified 127 barriers to Michigan's system. We did some influence mapping, and then we chose the top 5 or 6 barriers, and those are what started our action teams. And so we are definitely using that information to drive the work that we're doing. The special ed administrative credentialing, that one Mace has picked up for us. The building leader one for inclusive leadership, Mace has picked up for us, as well as the paraeducator one. So they are implementing the recommendations that are coming out. The teacher credentialing and standards, the State Board of Education just adopted new K-12 standards on May 13th for our special education preparation programs to implement, where we do have consistency across our preparation with much higher standards than what we have had in the past. And we are now in the process of working with MDE and OEE in regards to a new special ed credential as well. So very excited about that. A couple pieces that are still dangling out there, paperwork reduction. You probably have heard many times that paperwork is a significant barrier for our ability to retain our current qualified staff. So we have an action team that came out with some recommendations, and we are in the process of teasing through that and hopefully moving that into implementation as well. And that coincides really closely with the workload caseload. And we can't just base our staffing allocations on just the number of students, but what is the complexity of their need and how are we allocating the appropriate staff time to be able to do that. School psychologist, this is a celebration for Optimize. We did get funded through the Department of Labor to start a new school psych hybrid model. An RFP went out, working very closely with MASP on that one. That came out of the MASP Behavior Action Team, and that's really exciting. This Behavior Action Team, we had over 70 people that probably participated, breaking up into 3 different subgroups and really looking at behavior as being one of the top barriers to our ability to retain our special ed personnel, including paraeducators. Paraeducators said this was one of the greatest challenges that they're currently experiencing within the system. So again, we wanted to look at how do we develop a statewide professional development opportunity that lists, all of the areas of need within that. How do we develop a coaching system in both the ISDs that could help with the locals around the behavioral coaching to really support the implementation of some of that new learning, and then really looking at a statewide system that can pull all of our partners together, including school behavioral health as well as community mental health, the police force, et cetera. Lastly on this list, we had a work group around compensation. I did have an opportunity to present to MSBO in relationship to recommendations of what are some innovative strategies that they could look at implementing to really help with not only attracting but the retention of our special ed personnel.
I think this is it's just fantastic the way you've approached it, the partnerships that you've made, the fact that you've gone out and worked in the field instead of telling the field. And I know that we've seen a lot of positive benefit from the work that you're doing. And I just want to thank Kathy and Laurie for being here today and really for demonstrating the value of the work that you have done.